Hey, welcome race fans. Man, I'm glad you guys all came to see me today. Yeah, I know I've been gone a long time. I'm telling you. We've had some problems back here, but everybody has problems. And thing is, I got my racing hat. This is my racing hat. And you see I got my earplugs. I highly recommend these things. I've been wearing them for probably about 15 years now. And just a recommendation. That's all. And it took me a while to get used to it because, kind of muffled the roar and everything. But, I've adjusted. So anyway, what we're here to talk about today is Darrell Waltrip. Darrell Waltrip, Jaws. The man that changed NASCAR in the 1970s. I mean, he changed everything. He came up into the Cup Series, and he was brassy, and he was cocky, and he was making fun of the stars, and he was making fun of this guy and that guy. And, nobody had ever seen that before. And some fans hated it, some fans loved it. But you know what? The bottom line is he sold tickets, and he filled the grandstands. He started out driving a Go Kart, racing a Go Kart when he was age 12 or so. And he ran that for about 4 years. And him and his dad, they decided to build a stock car. So they got him a 1936 or a 37 Chevy Coupe. And, they knocked the windows out and everything and put a roll cage in it. And old Darrell, he went to the track and he wrecked it the first night. Well, I'll tell you what, Darrell realized right then and then his dad and him didn't have any knowledge whatsoever about how to build a race car. But there was a guy there in town, a local service station, Henry Pedley's service station, Owensburg, Kentucky. And I think it's whatever, yeah. And Darrell got with him, and he goes, "Sure, Darrell, I'll build you a race car." And so Darrell went out and, he scrapped and everything. His dad probably helped him out too. And then Harry built him a stock car. And Darrell called it the Big 100. And I don't know why he called it, I never heard a reason why he called it that. But anyway, he went and competed at the Kentucky Speedway in the local track or nearby. It was an asphalt track, which suited his driving style perfectly. And he also competed at the Ellis Speedway, which is another local dirt track, and he competed there. And he did the same thing when he showed up at these tracks. He went in there and he's poking fun, and he loved the attention. He wanted the spotlight. He loved it. But anyway, well, he had some success there, and he's doing good. And he caught the eye of old PB Conley from Nashville. He was a car owner and a race driver, and he raced at Nashville, and he encouraged Darrell to come to Nashville. So Darrell said, "Okay, I ain't doing nothing here, and plus I got a ride." So he moved to Nashville. And PB Conwell put him in one of his cars, and Nashville's one tough half-mile track, high bank, fast. I mean, I'm telling you what, it is a wicked track. And the competition was unbelievable. You had the Alabama gang there, and the Allisons and Red Farmer and all those guys, and they were tough guys, man, and they were in good equipment. And they knew how to drive race cars. The competition was furious. But anyway, while he was there, he showed up in Nashville, he did the same thing. He's poking fun at the stars and everything else. And, doing his thing. And the local TV station, who promoted the track, they said, "Hey, Darrell, why don't you come on our show? Come on our TV show, be a guest, Oh, Darrell, he wasn't doing anything anyway. He said, "Oh, sure, I'll do that." And plus, that's what he wanted. He wanted the spotlight. He wanted the attention. And by gosh, he was going to get it. And then after he got on that, we'll back up just a little bit. One time, there was, whenever the co-anchor, or whatever you call him, of the show wanted a day off or had something to do, they said, "Hey, Darrell, you run the show? You be the co-anchor." Well, heck, he get on TV now. He's a co-anchor. He's running the show part time. And then a fellow named Ralph Emerly, WSMN Radio. He got a hold of him, and he said, "Hey, why don't you come on the radio?" And so Darrell, yeah, I go on the radio. Now here's something that's I think is kind of funny about this, is that Jack Hewitt, when he went down to Australia, I think it was out down south, down under. That's how they promoted their races there. He would go on the radio, or them drivers, the American drivers would go on the radio, and they'd badmouth them, and they'd get the people all riled up. They get the people fired up, and I'm telling you what, I mean, they were packing the speedways, and they had fights, Jack Hewitt, he got it, they're going to have a fight with their big star on the front straightaway, but Jack Hewitt actually hit him. I mean, he was supposed to pull the punch, but Jack goes, "Hell, I don't know how to pull punches." But anyway, Jack learned how to hone his communication skills down there. And this is what Darrell was doing. He was honing his communication skills, And, and thing is, he was very successful. He backed it up with talent. He won 67 features at Nashville Speedway Fairgrounds, and he won 2 championships. And I went through there, and there's very few 2-time champs at that track. Of course, most of them were moving up into the Cup Series and so forth. But anyway, he was very successful down there, so Darrell, he put his money together. He probably was getting some money from the TV and the radio show, plus his purse. And he worked on his own car in spare time when he wasn't doing all this other stuff. I mean, he worked on his own car. And the thing is, he put some money together. And I'm just kind of looking at my notes here. Oh, yeah, here's another thing I just kind of overlooked. They're at Nashville. Now, these guys, if you wreck a guy to win a race, you just took food off his table. I'm telling you. If a guy wrecks you during the race to win the race, he's taking food off yours. And hey, they were playing for keeps out there. And I'll tell you what, you didn't go out wrecking people, I mean, plus it costs a lot of money. And so, the thing is, it's different than I don't even want to talk about it. Okay, so anyhow, he developed his communication skills, but anyway, he went to Moody, and bought a race car. And he paid $12,500 for it in 1972. And $12,500. And back then, heck, for $3,000, you could buy any car you probably wanted off the showroom floor. But anyway, he paid $12,500 for this race car from Holman Moody. And Holman Moody was a mainstay of racing. I'm telling you. He ran the Ford racing division or whatever. The effort. He's been doing it since 1956. He started out. He built, they build engines for everybody. I mean, road racing, drag racing, you name it, they build engines for him. And he also supplied engines, Ford engines, to the Wood Brothers and others. And then they sold heads and they ground valves, camshafts and stuff, and supplied engines. He was a mainstay of Moody was a big dog, buddy. I mean, a big dog. And if you got a ride in one of Moody's cars, buddy, you had something. But anyhow, Darrell bought this car. And this car was Mario Andretti won in 1967. He won the Daytona 500. And he purchased that car from Holman Moody. And the thing about old Mario Andretti, their Daytona, he showed up. Well, now A.J. Foyt had already been down there, and I think Johnny Rutherford, a lot of Indy guys kind of went down there and played around. They got rides, and what the heck, they weren't doing nothing in February anyway. And so they'd go down there and race. But anyway, Mario was not very well liked. And they didn't really want to see this Indy guy down here. So anyway, old Mario, he's out there practicing with his the car. Holman put him in it. He was in a Holman Moody car, top-notch car. But he was lacking about 400 horsepower. Or 400 RPM, excuse me, I'm sorry. And he went and bitched to Holman Moody. Said, hey, what the hell? I'm short. That thing should wind up a little bit. I'm short. Oh, Holman Moody said, you ding-dong Indy drivers. You don't know what you're talking about. Them engines are all built in the same place. Comes out of the same shop, and everything. There ain't no difference in them engines. So anyway, Mario, when they brought the racing engines in to Daytona, Mario slipped down into the garage, and he seen there was, names taped on the blocks. So what he did is he took his one off of his block, and he swapped it with one of the other guys, because they had like 3 or 4 cars down there, drivers. I can't think of their names right now. There was top-notch drivers and top-notch equipment at Daytona for Holman Moody. But anyway, he swapped it out, and guess what? He gained these 400 RPM, and now he was rolling. Plus, he drove that car so loose, I'm telling you what, it was loose. And he was on the razor's edge for 500 miles. Furthermore, at one point of the race, he was leading, and he come in the pits, and they held him up. They let the other guy, which was a Moody driver, can't remember who in the heck it was, they let him, get the lead. And old Mario, he just went out there and got the lead back and won the Daytona 500, the 1967 Daytona 500. Yes, sirree. And the thing is, Darrell bought this car, and he went into NASCAR and a Sportsman in the Arcus series, which would be like the Xfinity today. The Sportsman was, as before Busch and the Busch series and all that stuff. And his first race, which I cannot believe, he shows up to the Texas World Speedway. The Texas World Speedway was a high bank fast. Wicked fast. And holy cow, here comes this kid rolling in there. And that had to be intimidating as heck. He came off of a half-mile track. He probably didn't run anything much bigger than a 3/4. And I can't tell you the size of that track, but it was at least 2.5 miles or something like that. But it was super high bank, super wide, super fast. And Darrell, he got out there, and of course he showed up doing the same thing he done everywhere else he goes. He's popping off right and left and making fun of everybody. And, of course, they're all going, what the heck who's this kid? Jesus, Katie, we've heard about this kid from Nashville. My God, And the thing is that, Darrell, he not only wanted the spotlight, but he wanted to get into the driver's head. The drivers were out there worrying about, what the heck's that dumb kid going to say about me? Come on. This guy, he has no respect. He come in here, he has no respect, a little punk kid. And, get in their head. There's a lot of mental games going on in this racing world. I'll tell you what, let me think for a minute. Gosh darn it. I'll think of it here in just a second. Anyway, he was a driver, and he'd show up to the track, and I'll think of his name in a minute. And he'd always have his car ready to go. See, so he'd walk around the pits, walk around there. He'd walk over to Joe Blow and go, "Oh, hey, I see you got that XYZ parts on here." And you know what? I had that on my car, and some bit, the damn thing broke. It put me right in the wall. And you need to go around telling them stuff like that, or you can get in their head. I'll think of his name here in a second. A very famous race driver, won the Indy 500 3 times. Actually, he's one of my favorite drivers. He got killed in 1956. There. And anyway, we'll just move on. So anyway, he shows up and he runs that, and he had a good day. And I can't get a lot of information on anything what happened at that period of time. But then in 1972, he put a Mercury Cyclone body on that chassis. That way he could compete in the Cup. He jumped up into the Cup races. And he put that on there. And his first race was Talladega. Well, he ran Talladega also in the Sportsman and ARCA. Okay. And he shows up at Talladega, which I just find unbelievable. I mean, my God, you're going to these high bank, fast, super speedways. Anyway, Darrell, he had talent. He had a lot of, he had talent. He could back it up. So anyway, he shows up, and James Hyten won it. I know I pronounced that wrong, but him and Jim. They battled and battled and battled for the lead oh man, and they just battled. And then Darrell's engine blew up. Now, Darrell wasn't upset about that, really, because he's seen that he could run with these guys. And just think about this a minute. He was running a 1967 chassis. This was 1972, I think it was. Yes, 1972. He was running an old chassis. Now, he had gosh darn it. He had Jake Elders. I'm sorry about that, but Jake Elders was his crew chief. Now, that was Suitcase Jake. Darrell Jr. talks about him all the time. Speaking of that, where I learned about the Texas World Speedways from Darrell Jr., he had a whole deal on about it. It's not in business anymore. I think all that's left is the back straightaway, I think, or the front one, or whatever. And but anyhow, Suitcase Jack, and he was just an independent guy, I'm telling you. He just he'd work for a while, and then he just pack his suit. You go in the shop, and where's Suitcase? Where's Jake at? Well, Jake, he packed his crap and he left. He's done. He did it all the time, and he worked for all kinds of different drivers and car owners and stuff. But Jake Elders was his crew chief, and they ran like 6 races that season in the ARCA and the ARCA and Sportsman Series. And but the thing is, Darrell, in this race, I'm kind of got off subject there, but Darrell, anyway, Jake Elders was his crew chief. Anyhow, he stuck with Darrell quite a while, the way I see it. I don't know. Darrell must have treated him good. Anyhow, DW could see that he could run with these guys. He knew he could run with them. He didn't have superior equipment. They had better equipment than he did. And he seen that he could run with them. And he was tickled to death. Now, I got to go. I got things to do and stuff like that. So this is episode 1. And when our next episode, keep your eye out for it, we're going to go into his Cup Series, into his NASCAR, when he ran NASCAR in our next episode. So, you know my motto. I think you do. Make somebody's day. You know what I mean? When you're walking down the street and you see somebody, say, hey, how's it going? What's going on? La-di-da-di-da. Look at the weather. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. But try to make somebody's day. I do it every day. I don't care whether you believe in God or not. That's your business. I don't care. But I believe in God. And the thing is, I know that makes God happy. I'm positive it makes God happy because I'm trying to make somebody's day. And when a waitress comes and I tell her, oh my gosh, you look so nice and la-di-da-di-da, put a smile on their face, make their day. Just make somebody's day.